Hi everybody. Konnichiwa, minasan. First of all, I'm really honored to be here in front of you after 4 years. Tokyo is colder than expected. South Korea also currently close to minus 20 degrees now. Everyone, please take care of your health. I'm Minseok. Like most of you, my family name comes first. So, Cha is my family name. These are the Chinese character for my name. I heard that the character for Min is not used in Japan. It was interesting to learn of the difference in culture that uses the same Chinese characters. Although we may have our differences, we are here for the common purpose of sharing information and cooperating against threats. Today, my topic is localization of ransomware. To an analyst, ransomware can technically be thought of as a type of malware, but it is great cause for concern for clients. It was unable to cross-examine the trend of ransomware because I was more interested in tracking the APT groups which are active in East Asia. But once 2019 began, targeted ransomware started to appear, causing harms to a great number of companies. Targeted ransomware shares a method of attack rather similar to the other APT attacks. The characteristics of recent ransomware are as follows. Whether individual or companies are targeted is determined by the ransomware gangs. Now, many ransomware gangs run ransomware as a service, LaaS, and have local partners that spread their ransomware. Some ransomware gangs do not attack medical institutions or critical infrastructures. The social backlash may play a part in this. Attackers use corporate management programs to spread ransomware. Some nationally supported threat actors also create ransomware. In such cases, the purpose is usually to destroy data rather than for financial gains. Wipers disguised as ransomware that make recovery impossible are also created. Lastly, some ransomware has been showing signs of localizing. I will talk about the localization of ransomware. Malware creators began targeting specific regions, and different attacks methods were used according to the language, culture, environment, habit of each region. To be honest, it is hard to say whether the localization of ransomware has become a general trend or not. I can say, however, that there are some regions that are showing signs of ransomware being localized. These gangs even create ransomware that doesn't run on systems that are in certain locations in order to avoid attracting the attention of local law environment. By localization, ransomware gangs encrypt local software extensions and try to bypass local anti-malware products. The first localized ransomware I saw outside of Korea was Coldra, which attacked Taiwan in 2020. In the summer of 2020, while I was analyzing the phishing and mass-scale ransomware that are only active in Korea, I started to ask myself why this ransomware only targeted Korea. I also wondered if they are purely only active in Korea. I later read on the Dragos blog that there are more ransomware that are only active in specific countries. Thus, I figured that the localization of ransomware must be happening in other regions as well. I prepared this talk because I believe it would be helpful to share how the situation is like here in Korea. I have marked the active areas of specific malwares on this map. This could be more ransomware that I am not aware of that are only active in certain countries or regions. Let us examine the situation in Korea. First is the ransomware timeline in Korea. I'm not certain about the situation in other non-English speaking countries, but for Korea, large-scale damage from ransomware didn't happen until 2015. Only ransomware used email, but many Koreans would either delete or mark emails written in English as spam without reading them. The language barrier reduced the damage. Afterward, ransomware gangs tried attacking with emails written in Korean using machine translation. But Koreans were not easily fooled by the awkward Korean. The first serious case of harm was when CryptoRock was distributed through a famous IT website in 2015. And December 2016, Venus Rock, which used email written in Korean, was discovered. Many people opened the attachment that was on the email, which was written in perfect Korean and had their system impacted. After this, other ransomware that clearly targeted Korean began to emerge. From 2019, ransomware that targeted companies appeared. Ransomware from being an individual problem to corporation issue. These are major targeted ransomware attack cases that happened in late 2021 and 2020. There are some well-known ransomware that are operated as RAS, but these are also ransomware that are hard to find in other countries. I will now talk about the attackers that are related to ransomware. The first is Initial Access Brokers, IAB. The gang's name Venus IAB has distributed ransomware in Korea. They were called Venus Rock gangs because they distributed Venus Rock in the beginning, but they used other ransomware and even installed coin miners. Although they changed from using Venus Rock to other ransomware, the reason why we demand these attacks to have been done by the same group is due to the fact that the shortcut files, LNK files, attached to the mails contains signs like Venus Rock _ Korean. The mystery part is that the port used by user L is not in Korean. Also, the font used that the bait document in Simson, our Chinese font generally not used by Korean. Does this mean the malware developer is Chinese and the ransomware distributor is Korean? I don't know. The Magnified ransomware was first discovered in October 2017. This ransomware targeted Korea and some variants are only active on Korean Windows and Korean IP addresses. For a while, it impacted the system in a pilot form and had to be detected by anti-malware products using Behave-based detection. They have recently been using other various extensions, MSI, CPL, JST. They are currently still active. I heard Magnified ransomware also hit Japan and Taiwan, and they recently attacked Europe countries. Next, Gantt Crab or Blue Crab IAB. Gantt Crab ransomware was first discovered in Korea in February 2018. They used email written in awkward machine-translated Korean early on. Afterward, they began using email with natural Korean. At the time, we do those a Korean or a member with fluent Korean had joined them, but there is a high chance that this was a local partner. It seems that there were multiple Gantt Crab ransomware distributors in Korea. In February 2021, a Korean arrested for distributing the Gantt Crab ransomware. He made a total of 12 million won, which was not as high as expected. The Guishin ransom is the most interesting ransomware. Guishin takes its name from Guishin, the Korean word for ghost. split. From this fact alone, we can assume that a person who knows Korean culture and Korean language well is involved. It was postponed in September 2021 until spring 2020. It was only covered on the news and no information was made public until July 2020. The ransom notes contain the name of the victim company and the analyst at the information leak. As a result, information sharing was restricted for a while as the client reported the ransomware to the security vendors and did not want the information to be shared with other security vendors. The ransomware has a Windows version and a Linux version. The Windows version is distributed in MSI file format, and the actual ransomware is encrypted in binary.helper file. The Windows version required additional arguments to run, so if the analyst only has the executable files and does not know the additional arguments, it cannot be analyzed. However, the Linux version encrypted file without any additional arguments. The mass-scan ransomware became known in the summer of 2020 because of each attack on the IT service. But this ransomware has been active in Korea since April 2020. They attack vulnerability database servers, and according to KISA, KRSOT, made up 64% of the reported cases of DB servers targeted ransomware attacks that happened until September 2020. The ransomware requires a configuration file to run as intended. Unfortunately, the exact contents of this configuration file is unknown. There is ransomware that is currently unclassified. I cannot say if this is an unreported variant or the variant that I have not been able to identify yet. Attribution is difficult for these cases. Ransom notes does not have the ransomware name, only the contact information, making it difficult to know which ransomware it is. There are threat actors suspicious of having national support creating the ransomware. In 2020, Kaspersky announced that the Andrea Group had attacked using ransomware. Through the published IOC, I confirmed a variant being reported by the customers in September 2020. Although we have not confirmed any actual damage, it would be strange if there was, since the Andrea Group had once attacked several Korean companies with wipers. It was revealed in July 2020 that the Maui ransomware was attacking medical institutions in US, and Kaspersky announced that the Maui ransomware maybe is connected to the Andrea Group. Unfortunately, I was not able to determine if the Maui ransomware was active in Korea. The Minseok groups first become active in Korea, but they are now active all over the world. In December 2020, the Korean police force announced that the results of the investigation held on the Minseok group in May 2020. The interesting part about the report is that the fact the group demands cryptocurrency after crypting the company servers of 13 shopping malls used in the C2 server. The requirement amount was only a couple million won, which led us to wonder if this was an individual trying to earn some pocket money. These are the case in Korea where computer repairmen impacted their client computer with ransomware. They would install the remote control malware on the computers of clients who had hired them to recover data. Afterward, they would execute the ransomware and collect the money. Targeted ransomware, hacking attacks, and APT attacks are not too different. The difference is whether ransomware is distributed at the end or not. Emails are most commonly used attack vectors. There was a case where an email was sent to all employees of a targeted company. 3 employers had opened this email and impacted the company's internal system with ransomware. Most targeted ransomware aimed for companies, so they often infiltrate using weakness RDP password, vulnerabilities in database, mail, VPN, and web server. Infiltration is also done through IT maintenance service or server that can be accessed by subcontractors. After internal system has been breached, the other systems are taken over only by on through lateral movement. Upon this point, the process is similar to general APT attacks. However, instead of stealing information, targeted systems are impacted with ransomware. The last hardcore attackers are the endpoint security products like anti-malware or EDR. Attackers must neutralize endpoint security products in order to successfully run their ransomware. What would be the easiest way to do so? By uninstalling. If you examine the ransomware reported from victims' companies, these are some cases where the ransomware had already been detected by anti-malware product. Attackers do not modify the ransomware to be undetectable. They instead uninstall the anti-malware product entirely. Some turn off the real-time protection features or whitelist the ransomware file so that it isn't detected. If an attacker cannot change the settings, the ransomware may be executed differently. In the case of a certain company, the fell victim to ransomware, the attacker attempted to execute the ransomware 3 times. The first 2 attempts were detected and blocked by an anti-malware product. However, the attacker did not give up as they encrypted the ransomware, created a loader, and executed it within the memory in order to avoid detection. There are pros and cons to the localization of ransomware. Local gangs can join in ransom gangs. Their criminal gangs cannot be active globally from the beginning. So there is a high possibility they will begin their activities somewhere they used to or in a neighboring country. Cons is the fact that ransomware localization is a temporary phenomenon. So criminal gangs will want to be active in various regions. Furthermore, there is a chance that the ransomware which I mentioned were only active in particular regions could already be active in other areas. However, even if many ransomware gangs are operated as RAS, localization trend may continue to rise as long as local IAB exists. Only time will tell. Ransomware is changed into RAS and targeted attacks. Case in Korea shows the local IAB and local ransomware active at the same time. Endpoint security products are the last line of defense. Knowing this, attackers uninstall this product or turn off the real-time protection feature. Therefore, users should have limited control over anti-malware setting, and central management product must be able to identify endpoint security products with abnormal settings. Unpromptly, attackers are able to complete their task in just a few hours, and admin may miss this. We must also take interest in the cases of other countries. Attackers active in local area may expand to neighboring countries. which means that information regarding attack vectors, ransomware gangs, ransomware should be shared. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Does anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, please find me in person later on or contact me via email, Twitter, and Slack. Thank you very much.